Hey everyone, we have Ravikiran sir here. He is the CEO and co-founder of Numocity. Numocity is a startup company which promotes sustainable transportation for EV electric vehicles and provides innovative solutions for charging infrastructure sector. Ravikiran sir is an MBA from IIM Bangalore and is the global president of IEEE, which is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. He has over 28 years of experience and is a serial entrepreneur and has also been a business leader at Nokia and Siemens. So welcome, Ravikiran sir. We would love to hear from you your entrepreneurial journey, how it all started for you, and how was the first few years of your journey as an entrepreneur.
Hey, thanks, Raghu. Thanks for inviting me here and for this conversation. Good to be here. And also thanks for the nice introduction. Your question was more to see as an entrepreneur when you start off, how does it look for you? See, my journey is very specific. I spent close to 16 years in a corporate world doing a lot of things before I decided to become an entrepreneur. So different people start different points in their life, in their career, when they try to be an entrepreneur, want to be an entrepreneur. So it could be different for different people. So what I say should be taken with that lens, that it's for somebody who spent a lot of time in corporate and then jumping into a kind of an entrepreneurial journey. See, the first thing it hits you, or first thing you realize, is that you are no longer part of a larger company.
Right.
What works for you there does not work for you in an entrepreneurial thing. The first and foremost learning is, in a larger company, it's always a matrix organization. There are a lot of verticals, horizontals. You are one of the pegs in the overall scheme of things. So if something goes right, you can claim your credit, but there are hundreds of other people also claim credit for it. If something goes wrong, you can either escape by being part of that nobody claims credit, nobody takes the ownership of that mistake or ownership of the loss, and at sometimes you may be made the only person who took the loss. But when you move on to the entrepreneurial journey, you'll realize that you are the master of your destiny. There is nobody who can tell you what is right, what is wrong. There is nobody who takes the credit for your success. There is nobody who takes a kind of flag for the failures what you do. So the first mindset change, or the change you will experience, is that now you are on your own. And that is something you need to get used to, because there is nobody else who is going to do the decision making for you. You have to make the decision. And you have to take the ownership of whether it goes right or wrong. And there is no other way of doing it. That's the first thing. Second thing is a lot of unlearning of what you were doing, relearning of new way of doing things, and learning completely different things. So it's a continuous cycle of unlearning. So it's like you've been soaked in kind of a dye for 20 years or 15 years, and then you're coming to become a different color. And when you're trying to become a different color, you need to unlearn a lot of things what you do. I think that's the biggest challenge one faces when you move from a corporate life to an entrepreneurial life, that you need to understand it. You need to know that you have to change the way you look at things, and bring a lot of changes, whether it's finance, getting to understand the frugality of doing things, being able to become a salesman. You may be a technologist in your earlier avatar, but now you're a salesman. For a company, a founder is the salesman. There is nobody else, because it's your idea, your vision. If you cannot communicate it, nobody else can communicate it better. So if you are communicating, better be a good salesman. You are the customer support. If something goes wrong, nobody will talk to anybody else. They will call the founder. For first 3-4 years of my this company, anything goes wrong, every customer will call me. Nobody else. Even though I tell them there is my team is available, they say, no, I want to talk to you because you are the one who sold me that story. I need to talk to you. So you need to understand that now you are not shielded by a large team. You are the team. You are in the front. And everything will come. In the beginning, of course, as you go along, it gets a little more structured, but in the beginning you are. Third is also need to understand for the first few years is that you are nobody. In the new world, you have entered as an entrepreneur, you are nobody till your business proposition or your problem you are trying to solve makes you visible to others that you're solving the problem, till then nobody gives a damn of what you're doing,
Yeah.
because you're nobody for them. But that's a
Right.
huge mindset change from a corporate life, where a lot of people will come to you because you are in that position.
Yeah.
But now the same people will never care about you when you're an entrepreneur, because you still
Right.
haven't proven yourself. You still haven't done something substantial, meaningful, that they have to listen to you. They have to
Correct.
listen to what you're talking. So that's
Yeah.
a huge transition. You need to understand now that you have to start from ground zero. You may
Right.
have any experience, you may have any tag in in your past, you might have earned whatever money you want, but you kind of start from zero, ground zero,
Yeah.
and then you go on. I think
Right.
I'm stopping at three. I can go
Yeah.
on. But one
Yeah.
last I will talk about is also interesting, is that you need to have a lot of perseverance, and also in the first few years, a lot of let's say energy to go out into public, society, family, friends, to tell
Okay.
them why are you doing this?
Okay.
Because it's not about getting a customer, because a lot of people think you've gone on a risky path, and they
Right.
do care for you. So they're all looking at you to find out, why is he doing it? Why is he
Right.
getting onto a riskier path rather than being in a very well set way?
Right.
And nobody understands it, and including your own spouse, children, brother, sister,
Yeah.
father, uh, everybody around you still don't understand it. So you
Right.
need to have that conviction and the will to persevere, to stay on the course you want
Okay.
for the first few years. Because usually in an entrepreneurial journey, 18 months is seen as a kind of a sweet spot, that if
Okay.
you can stay on for 18 months on something what you're working on, you have a better success rate of going forward. I don't have a percentage, but this is what
Right.
I've seen personally, I've seen with others, that people who have stayed on for 18 months to 2 years tend to go and do something. But
Yeah.
if you cannot hold on for such a period, you really don't do anything. And that's also the
Okay.
time where you need to keep your finances in check. You need
Yeah.
to know that 18 months, I need to have that financial backing also to sustain your personal life, your lifestyle,
Right.
whatever you need to do, you need to have that. So I think these are a few things I would keep in mind when anybody is in the first few years of his first entrepreneurial journey. Second, third is always different, because you have
Right.
learned from your own lessons, you
Yeah.
do it differently. First time, it's always a challenge.
Okay. Amazing. I think the way that you put it makes a lot of sense. Like you're starting from ground zero, and now you have the ownership of everything, and you're accountable for everyone, including like customer queries and any little thing that comes up in your business. And then you need to learn a lot, be in a process of continuous flow, learning from people, experiences, and also different places. And finally, I think it's making sure that you are providing maximum value for your time that you're investing, and staying on course with good
Absolutely.
perseverance and patience. Yeah, yeah, amazing value points that you've dropped. So once you have that kind of a mindset and you stay on, let's say for 18 months that you just mentioned, and you don't see no visible growth, and I think you mentioned about perseverance a lot. So how does one find strength in such a grim scenario when you are working towards it with all your strength and energy, and then you don't seem to see the breakthrough that you are looking for? So how does one sustain in such a situation?
See, if you see a lot of infographics on the web, you will see an entrepreneurial journey where your level of excitement in the beginning is you shoot up like this. When
Okay.
things don't work exactly what you're asking after 18 months, you go down like this, and you wander around, you go up, down, horizontal, you wander around for a period of time. Then,
Right.
if you have
Mhm.
persevered, you will slowly start to move up again in terms of your
Okay.
excitement and success. Now, coming specifically to your question, see,
Mhm.
when it's, I always say that entrepreneurial journey in what you're doing is to a huge factor of luck.
Okay.
Things,
Yes.
luck, and timing.
Okay.
Luck, as I mean, luck and timing, I put them together because it's a huge factor of it.
Okay.
Whatever you're trying to solve may not be relevant in that year. I faced it a couple of times that you think it is the most best thing you're doing, but nobody wants it at that point of time. There is no customer for it. There is nobody wanting it. But
Mm.
doesn't mean what you're doing is useless.
Yeah.
But nobody wants it at that time. And
Okay.
that's what I call luck. That is, if lot of parameters come in at the same time and you're doing the right thing, you suddenly explode and scale. But if not, you suddenly are in a zone where nobody wants what you're doing and you think you're a failure, because that's the first thing you need to take out of your mind in that journey.
Right.
That it is not about you. You are not a failure. It is not even about the idea. Idea is not a failure. I
Right.
always say it's just a matter of timing.
Okay.
Whatever you are, whatever you've built, whatever you're trying to solve is not required today. It's probably required in 1 year from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now. So having that conviction, that faith that I am not a failure, my idea or a solution is not a failure, it's just a matter of timing. The moment an entrepreneur gets that confidence that it's a timing, then best thing what I experience and I've done it personally is don't stop. Talk to a lot
Okay.
of people. There is a common misconception that you should not talk to others because they will copy your idea. But what
Right.
I have understood it is the more you talk to people, you need to know whom to talk to. That's
Okay.
the importance of an entrepreneur. You don't talk to everybody on the street. You need to know
Right.
whom to talk to. You need to talk to the right venture capitalist, not for money. Just
Yeah.
don't tell them what you're doing. Talk to all the
Okay.
potential customers and tell them what you're doing. They
Okay.
will tell you whether I will pay you money for it as a customer. Do I need it? Don't need it? Why I don't need it? And at the same time, your VCs will tell you, is this an investable thought? Will I be investing in something similar or not? All you
Okay.
need to do is just get feedback. Talk to hundreds of people. They'll tell you the meaningful, not meaningful. Whether I'll give you money, not give you money. If you're able to do this in this, when the tough period, when you're not really doing well, you will get that pivot. What this famous word everybody says, did you pivot? How many times did you pivot?
Yeah.
That's exactly the moment. When you talk to so many of them, I've had this experience. I built something in 2012, I think, or 11 for e-commerce, and I thought that would work. It didn't work.
Oh.
But we talked to a lot of people, and suddenly somebody said, hey, what you guys have, I need it in a travel segment. And
Okay.
actually, it can be tweaked into a marketing automation, whatever you're talking. We were doing some AI engine for recommendations. And he said,
Yeah.
forget e-commerce, come to travel. People are looking for locations. Can you now tweak it into our automation engine so that based on what somebody wants, can I send an email? We felt
Okay.
it's actually the same, but it's different. And what I was trying to solve was different from what they're asking.
Okay.
But we did that pivot.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden, it worked for that very popular porter. I'm not taking their name. And then 10 others came to us. The moment it worked for one,
Okay.
they came and said, hey, you seem to know what you're doing. Can I have it? Then all of a sudden, we have now a scale because you understood the problem from one person. The
Okay.
second thing, which is also my learning across all my companies, is you do what is called as co-create. When
Okay.
you're going to not knowing whether the business will run, go and find an anchor customer whom you think is the best person who will be your customer.
Okay.
Convince him to be your customer. No money required, no commercials required. I will build with you.
Okay.
So give him a lot of freebies. It could be free, it could be reduced commercials, it could be co-creation of a patent, it could be anything. Work
Okay.
with them. When they work with you with very limited expectations and risk, you co-create a product, and the moment you get that out, then you have one validated customer who says, I know what you built because I have been part of it. I know
Okay.
exactly what it does. And then you can go out into the market. So that is what you need to do. That is what the perseverance is all about. That's what your entrepreneurial spirit is. Don't give up. Don't give up and know that it's a matter of timing,
Okay.
and go and catch a co-creation partner and be ready to pivot. He will give you a lot of feedback to pivot. If you
Okay.
can pivot, to a great extent, you will find your next customer. And the moment you do, then the scaling problems are different, but you would have got your MVP working, you would have got your first validated customer working. That's a big milestone for an entrepreneur.
All
The
right.
next milestone is scaling, but this is the first milestone. If you cross this, you have survived your initial scare, and then the
Okay.
problems are. So that's what I would tell people who are in the first few years and not sure whether the ideas will work. This is exactly what you need to do. Talk, co-create, and pivot.
Wow. Amazing. So I think what you're saying is like build visibility and then use it to enhance your value proposition and also time the market in a way that you know that there is demand growing up in any particular niche, and then you jump in when the time is right, and then you co-create with people whom you know are prospective clients, and then the power of referrals just comes into play, and then you pivot into a new trajectory. Amazing. So, Ravikiran sir, and you mentioned about scaling up as a different challenge. So, how would one scale up to a whole new level once the initial credibility setup and the first few referrals are in? How do you scale to a different whole new level? What are some of the advice that you would give to someone who wants to scale up?
See, first thing which a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize is, have you got your go-to-market strategy right and a product market fit? First is product solution fit, problem solution fit. You figured out there is a problem, you figured out a solution. First, customers are telling you it works fine, all of that is fine. Have you got the product market fit and your go-to-market? Product market fit is getting the price points right, getting your differentiators with customers right, your substitutions. That is, there are customers' problems are solved by some other method. You're substituting them. Are you better than them? There are a whole lot of things to get it right. That's part of your go-to-market. Which segment do you focus on? Which countries or geographic segments or customer segments do you focus on? Usually, entrepreneurs, if you come with a corporate background, you try to go all around, all out, and try to do a lot of things. And that is where, for me, most important is focus. Try to do one thing right at a time. In marketing. I'm not talking about the product. Product also needs that focus, but this is about market. Which market, which segment, which customers am I going for? And second is to recognize when have you achieved the product market fit. That is where the scaling starts. The first paying customer is the first ever milestone. And that also sets your price bands. This is not the early customers. This is not the co-creating customer. This is the first non-co-creating customer who comes to you and you go to him and he says, hey, what you have, I need it. I will pay for it. Because all the others haven't really paid you the value of what you've built. The first guy who pays you the value is your first milestone. Then you discover your price. You discover your contractual problems. You discover your legal issues. You discover your support challenges, because he's now paying and taking something for what you've built. Whether it's a B2C, whether it's a B2B, he's the first guy genuinely, like you and me, when we buy a product, we are not going to be friendly or very nice to him to say, okay, you're a nice guy, you're an entrepreneur, so I'll be nice to you. No, this is the customer who's now coming to you professionally. He's now no longer looking at you as an entrepreneur. He looks at you as a company and say, you have it. I'm paying you the value for it. You better serve me with all the things right. From product selling to support to everything and everything which your product or a solution or anything needs to be done. So recognizing this milestone is very critical for entrepreneurs, because what happens is, once you have got a couple of free or early buyers, you tend to do more of that, thinking they're their customers. It takes you after 6 months or a year, you realize that you have a lot of people working with you, but nobody's paying you anything. Then you again go into a spin, because that's when the next spin happens. Because if you don't get it, even though you've got validated, you'll again go down because you're not making money out of it. But that identification of getting it right, the product market fix right, to really know which segment, which price, which competitors, which substitutors, all of that right, and marketing right, and getting the first paying customer and getting the referrals out of him, and then being able to go to whether it's B2C, B2B, different strategies, but being able to I mean, one of the moments I have realized is during COVID, we thought we will not have any customers. We worked hard, convinced a couple of them. And once we got the first paying customer, he becomes such a big reference that next 1 year in 2022, we were just on calls day in and day out, because people were coming to us. We were not going to anybody. For a long time, we never marketed also, but customers were coming to us. For us, that's a wow moment of a product market fit, because what we had exactly the market needed it. And we were the early movers, a lot of customers coming to us. And we scaled from in a very steep way in a very short period. And that's a scaling. And with scale comes the challenge of your resources, your processes, your ability to earn money. And earn money, what I mean is not by selling, to invoice, to have cash collections, to do all of that, whether it's B2B, different ways. And suddenly, I think I started off in the beginning saying you have to unlearn a lot of things what you do in a
Yeah.
corporate world. As you scale up, suddenly you start to unlearn what you are doing as an entrepreneur and you try to become a company, which means you try to now learn the corporate way of doing things. You will bring in processes, you will bring in policies,
Yeah.
you will bring in a lot of resources, and now you start to behave like a mini company. And that is
Right.
where, if you look at Steve Blank's a lot of articles, he talks about company creation is the last phase,
Okay.
because in the you're only validating your idea, you're validating your value
Right.
proposition and product market fit. Only when
Mhm.
you cross this is where you become a company. The moment you become company, you're no different from where you started from, because
Okay.
what you unlearned, now suddenly you have to relearn again and act like a bigger company, because the
Okay.
people who are paying you entrepreneur, and
Yeah.
suddenly you now have to re-look at becoming a company. And that's the extremely fun challenge when you go through your
Yeah.
entrepreneurial journey, that whatever you've unlearned, you'll actually relearn at this point.
Right. Okay, makes sense. So I think it's an amazing point that the new ways of doing is what you have to inculcate now. What has been working for you need not necessarily work now, since you are in a completely different zone, and you have to find out what works and understand the adaptive nature of entrepreneurship, and then pivot as and when you think the timing is right. So amazing point made there. So, sir, I would also like to know, so let's say someone who has the financial backing and is able to venture into entrepreneurship for, let's say, in a year and a half, as you said, like the sweet spot of understanding if that works for them or not. So, if there is financial backing and there is a niche that they are very passionate about, do you advise them to test the waters a little by checking like a pilot run in the first few months and then see if it's like something the market really wants? Is that how you would do it, or you would do like the reverse, understand what the market needs and then make a niche around that? How would the process of uh, you know un- finalizing your niche go?
See, I may sound a little cliched when I say this. I always recommend, whenever I talk to any entrepreneurs, is that don't do anything, don't spend your resources up to a certain point that you have validated what you're doing. So now, the first part of this journey is to know what are you doing, because we come with a notion in India. That's where we're all brought up in a way that we say, I have an idea and I want to do something.
Right.
That is sure short formula recipe for failure.
Okay.
Because if you have an idea, you don't know who wants it. So
Right.
nobody idea which comes like that succeeds in a very good way. One off might happen. It's just a matter of luck.
Okay.
Most of the time,
Okay.
you need to find out what is the problem. I think, like I said, that's why I said it's a little
Yeah.
cliche. You need to find out the problem is nothing but the idea, but it's other way of looking at it. What is the
Okay.
problem, and whose problem is it, which is the customer, and is
Okay.
he willing? And
To pay for
this
it. Okay.
articulated in a slide, in a document, a piece of paper. All you need to do is talk to what I told you right in the beginning, talk to hundreds of people, talk
Okay.
to potential customers, talk to competitors, potential competitors,
Yeah.
talk to investors, talk to academia. If you're a deep tech startup or you are trying to do something deep tech, talk to experts in that area. Just
Okay.
talk. You need to know how much to share, how much not to share. But
Right.
talking about the problem doesn't matter, because problem is problem. Everybody knows the
Right.
problem. You talk about the problem, not what you're trying to do. And you, in bits and pieces, talk to them about how are you trying to solve it. If you
Okay.
do this for 3 months with full dedication, you don't even have to leave your job. If you're doing a job, you're not moonlighting by doing this, because you're not earning money out of it. You're
Right.
just talking. You're just
Correct.
having coffee conversations. You're just talking with
Yeah.
just a slide, piece of paper, nothing else. Nothing else
Right.
needs to be done. Once you have a conviction that potential customers are excited about what you're talking,
Mm-hmm.
and you see that they're going to pay you money, either you
Okay.
are increasing their revenues or you're reducing their costs. Those are the only two things which can happen. Either you're
Right.
helping them to make more money, or you're helping them to reduce money. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it's B2C, also the same. If you buy a
Yeah.
product for enhancing yourself, or it's helping you to solve something which you had as a problem. That is
Yeah.
where we buy things. If you
True.
can recognize it, and then you invest a little bit more into building just a small prototype. Depends on whether it's a software, hardware, whether it is or any idea. Even if you're building a restaurant, you can even start selling what you're doing in a very small way,
Okay.
and with a select set of people. You talk to them, you give it to them and see what are they saying. That level of first groundwork, if you do, you have
Okay.
done zero investment. Only investment is your time, and
Right.
that too very legally. You're not moonlighting, you've done it legally. There is no harm in talking about what you're trying to solve. And that
Right.
is the point. Think, am I willing to now jump? Because if this is fairly okay, if it is looking good, if everything sounds reasonable, should I jump? Should I do
Okay.
it? That is the point of taking a decision to jump and do
Okay.
it full. And
Okay.
then, of course, it starts with finding co-founders and finding. It could also be that in this journey, you find a co-founder. When you're talking to hundreds of them, maybe there
Right.
is one person who says, "Hey, I love what you're talking. Can I do it with you?"
Okay.
Always, two is better than one.
Correct.
Always three is better
Yes.
than two. More than three is a
Right.
mess. So
Right.
three is most optimal co-founders. Two is
Ah,
good. Three is
okay.
optimal. Four is worse. One is
Okay.
always difficult because if
Right.
you're alone, you are on your own world. You're
Correct.
nobody's challenging what you're talking. So I
Right.
think that's what I would do in the beginning. Don't worry about company. Don't worry about anything. Uh, and you have not done anything legally not wrong, because I know moonlighting has been a topic everybody is talking, and this is
Right.
really not, because
Yeah.
you're just talking about your ideas. And
Correct.
this is what I do with as an advice to everybody, saying,
Right.
do this. Don't worry about company formation. Don't think I'm the CEO. Don't have a company registered. These are all pain. Closing a
Right.
company is impossible, quite difficult to do it. So
Yeah.
I would focus on just the problem and the value.
Okay.
If you
Oh.
can articulate, if you can get that in 6 months, 3 months, you're on the way. You know what you're doing.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. So I like the point that you said, like, you either increase more revenue for the people or reduce cost, and that's the value proposition, and you focus on how you can do that, which is obviously like solving some problem that they face, which is what you're trying to come in as a solution, and then you find a co-founder who can keep you accountable and have a partnership going that is mutually beneficial, and then you set the stage rolling with talking to multiple people in the same industry and prospective clients and people who can help you mentor and also mentor. So amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think a lot of points have come from this conversation. I'm sure the viewers of this conversation is going to find a lot of value. And thank you so much, Ravikiran, for your time. Appreciate you joining me in spite of your busy schedule. So, any final advice that you want to give to people who are looking up to you as a owner of a tech startup and someone who is passionate about technology and let's say some AI based solution that they might have in their mind and they want to start a company on their own. So any suggestion that you want to give such people?
I think I sprinkled a little bit around it, but I'll try to
Yeah.
summarize with few things. Don't try to be a tech startup or tech
Okay.
entrepreneur. You try to solve a problem which might need a technology. So if you
Okay.
go with the technology mindset that I know a technology, so I will solve something, or for
Okay.
instance, an AI or an IoT, you take any of those words,
Yeah.
that's a completely wrong way of approaching. So
Wow.
you should
Okay.
actually find a problem which may need a technology. Sometimes it may not need a technology to solve that problem.
Right.
So you should not be trying to be a tech entrepreneur. You should to
Okay.
be an entrepreneur solving something and creating value. And if
Wow.
technology helps you in the way, use technology. If it is
Okay.
there is no technology, don't use technology. So
Okay.
it's just depending on what you're doing.
Oh,
But if your problem, what you're picking up needs a technology, you will eventually use it in
okay.
some way or the other. But
Amazing.
don't be hung upon on that part, but try to focus on what value you want to create. And I
Amazing.
think that makes a success for you. And that's what I
Right.
would advise it.
Okay. Okay. And I think largely the bigger the problem you solve, the premium that you can collect as a person and a company. Is
Yeah,
that something that you believe?
depends on, as an entrepreneur, what
Yeah.
problem you want to solve. I mean, you can change the whole world if you want.
Yeah.
Or you can pick up a small little thing in your locality and say, I want to solve this hyper local problem. Both are important. I'm not saying
Okay.
both are not important. But for a hyper local, maybe the solution is very simple and you
Okay.
can make by doing simple things. And when you're trying to probably change the whole universe or a whole world in a particular way, maybe you need to apply a lot more things, finance,
Right.
technology, to solve it. So it depends on
Okay.
your appetite, your vision, your ability to see things. And that's where entrepreneurs differ. You can
Right.
make money selling tea coffee
Okay.
in a very big way, and you can also
Okay.
go and build a deep tech startup and solve a problem. Both are
Right.
entrepreneurs, both are doing wonderful things,
Wow.
but
Okay.
they're
Different ways of doing. You can sell something small value to a large amount of people, or like a big
exactly,
value product to small value. Okay. Still be
exactly.
very profitable. Okay. Got it. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ravikiran sir. Absolute delight talking to you. I really love this conversation, and I'll talk to you soon.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. And Raghu, and all the best for what you're doing. I hope it reaches out to a lot of people and
Yep.
people find it useful, whatever journey they do. And again, I repeat once more that everybody's journey is their own journey, but you should listen to others what they have gone through, but adopt it to your own needs.
Yeah. There is no, teacher as good as your own experience and the real thing that you do in your own life. I think that teaches the best.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you then. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.